So, just over 10 years ago, when I laid this decking path, I buried somebody underneath the decking. Hello, welcome to Exotic Gardening with me, Yorkshire Kris. Today we are continuing making a mess and making paths to hand the garden. Okay, we're going to cross over the bridge and we're going to come to the next project, next part of the redesign of the garden. We've got the gravel paths going that way with eucomis and salvias. And we've got the gravel paths going that way with anophophyias and amaranthus. We've got the jubea in the centre here, looking magnificent. And then we'll go down and we can see the next project, which is getting rid of the final part of the decking. So on the top edge there, you can see we've got the cortine steel that goes all the way around. But we've got the decking path going all the way through to the bamboo on that side. And then it goes all the way across here, past the gunnery towards the hydrangeas and the New Zealand privet at the border there. So that's all decking. And that's going to be removed. And we're going to follow the gravel path. Is going to come round, going to curve round, meet up with the start of the bridge here, which we're not going to be removing just yet. And it means these achebias are probably going to have to be removed because we're going to have the nice curve coming round here. So it'll go from there, curve round to this point. All this will be the gravel path, but it means all this here will be a planting area, although as you can see the plants have pretty much covered all this area anyway. I'll be able to dig up all this decking, fill it with lots of lovely topsoil and allow plants to thrive, move in here. New planting pockets, so I have some shady bits, a bit of some sunny bits, so plenty of space for more plants in the garden, especially when I tidy up that gunner over there. We're going to have some issues when we dig this up. One of the main issues is we've got the wiring, I think, and the pond pump for the waterfall. We've got the pond over here, got the pump underneath there, and the wiring goes off under this decking to a plug over, believe it or not, there's some plugs over there. And on this side, we've got the water pipe that goes all the way to the waterfall over behind there. So we're going to be careful when we take this up. And we've also got a nice little surprise, hopefully, underneath the decking, because somewhere, I think probably about here, we buried a, well, I won't spoil it, I'll show you when we take the decking up. Made a start, taken up, well, smashed through a lot of the decking boards. You can see how narrow the actual gap is, because we've got the sleepers either side. I said I had a wire, couldn't remember exactly where it is, but I found it here. So down here, this is a wire going, that focuses all the way down to the plug through there, and then it goes under here to the pond pump. So I've got to be careful of this, not to damage this. And I've got to also think about how I'm going to make it safely buried in the ground when it's in the gravel. So that's going to have to be thought through. Probably some conduit to put that in. And here is interesting. We've got, this is the old irrigation, which we're not going to use at this part of the garden anymore. But look at these. These are all vines. These are the chocolate vines. They've been growing underneath the decking from this side, going through up to this side. So that's been in the dark. But as you can see, There's been no weeds growing in here, so it's really worked. Having that gravel, weed suppressing membrane put down, but no weeds at all came through the decking for that good decade or so. So it's worked really well. These sleepers, I'm not sure if they're rotten or not, but I'll be digging those out. And then I said we've got a mystery guest, and I know he's just under here, so I can't use a sledgehammer to smash this because I might smash into him. So I'm going to carefully cut this to reveal our mystery guest. So, just over 10 years ago, when I laid this decking path, I buried somebody underneath the decking, and it's time to reveal who that is now that we've taken the decking up. I've been careful not to remove these parts here because that's where he is. But instead of smashing these further, I'm going to put my hands in, lift him out and reveal who's under the decking. Like I said, it's been, 10, 11 years. So he should still be there. Let's get him. Yep. There we go. Here we are. We've got Buzz Lightyear, which somebody in our old street gave my oldest daughter. Played with him for many years, and then we decided to bury him down here. Be amazed if the button worked. But there we go, that's Buzz Lightyear. Been underneath for that long. Bit of a gravelly bottom and helmet. But he survived all that time. Good colour, give him a clean up, I'm sure I'll be fine. Alright, let's get back on to smashing up this path and clearing this area, ready for the new gravel surface. So now we've removed all the wooden sleepers and all the wood and everything else from this area. You can see as I pan round a nice long trench that's been left, which is 7.5 metres or so in length because the garden's 8 metres. And let me show you a couple of things. First of all, there was weed suppressing membrane down. I've removed all that, but we've still got all the pea shingle, all this gravel here, which will act as decent drainage, and it means I'll have an area to plant in here, which will be good. Can really change this and put some nice gingers, I think, in this area, because it's relatively, although it's free draining, it does hold the moisture here, so it's moisture retaining. As you can see, we've got the Xanthodecia there. So it's a nice area for plants. And then as we move down, you can see in the middle here, a big hole, because what I did initially, I had, remember, all the decking paths going off in different directions with a channel leading to this point, which was a bit like a sump where all the moisture would run if it was really wet. And then this drains underground. I did a big sort of tunnel going underground towards the pond area. So all this water will be channeled away so it drains really well. And you can see the soil level, original soil level's down there. And we've got about 25, 30 centimetres of soil here. And then we've got the new surface up there. We've also got a couple of interesting things here with all these roots and branches from the chocolate vine. I managed to be careful with the wire for the pond pump, so we've got that coming out over here and going down. So I've been careful not to nick that, and it goes into some tubing down there. Now over here is a bit of a mess. There's so much ivy intermingled. I've ripped up a bit, but there's plenty more to rip up. This whole area needs sort of looking at and tidying up. It is a bit of a mess. I'm keeping in the last bit of sleeper here, so there's a sleeper going across there. I'm keeping that in because that'll contain the bamboo a bit, so it will spread about a bit because it can go around, obviously, but that will allow for another planting pocket in this area. There will be loads of space for plants because plants we've got already here are pretty big, like this euphorbia and eucomis. And then in the centre we have got the space for the gravel path. So I'm going to have to dig out a bit of the gravel there because it's just onto soil on this edge, remove that, remove all this edge here, all this soil. I've still got some bricks and hardcore to put in this channel here, ram that down, put the MOT base down, and then add the soil either side. It shouldn't be too difficult to do. I've got to think about this little bit here, because where the bridge starts, there's a hole. Obviously, I need to sort of cover that over so that the MOT gravel don't disappear under there. So I need to sort of put a piece of wood or something across there so that nothing spreads in there. And then maybe take out these Akebid, we'll see. I think it will work keeping them in, we'll see. Now, taking up the actual sleepers, you know, these 8-foot long sleepers, was hard work. Some were lighter than others. Some were incredibly hard, and I had to lug them over the bridge. And for now, I'll just show you, I've just dumped them over here. And some were really, really heavy because they're saturated with water. But they're in good nick, really. They're in good nick, surprisingly. So I might be able to reuse them or sell them on. They've not rotted as far as I can see, which is great. But they were heavy. They really tested my strength, taking them over there when I didn't have much room to manoeuvre, getting them out, putting them over here with all the screws and pieces of wood and muck and everything hanging off them. It wasn't the easiest thing to do. So it's getting dark now with these shorter days, and we'll just finish up showing you what I've done. I've got some hardcore rubble, the last of it from the back of the garden, and just place it down the area which is going to get the hardcore over the top. So a nice, strong, stable base before the gravel surface goes on top. And then I've started bringing some of the topsoil for the corners. I've got 80 bags of topsoil that were £2.25 from Wicks, which I think is a really good deal. It's half decent stuff as well. So I've got plenty of bags for that corner. And we've got plenty of bags for that corner, and then plenty more to bring if needed here and for the rest of the garden. So that's as far as we get this week. Not the most exciting video, just sort of clearing an area and starting the project of finishing off the paths finally that we started last year. We've done plenty of paths around the end of the garden. So thank you for watching this edition of Exotic Gardening UK. Join me next week where I'll be doing more in the garden.